Hello and welcome to our new webinar on APPSeCONNECT. So today's topic is Skyrocket Efficiency with powerful HTTP integrations for custom app. So here what we will see is how your private apps can be connected, which are unknown to us, can be connected to our integration solution. My name is Abhishek and I am the VP of Product at APPSeCONNECT. And I have with me Debangan Dev, who is, you can say, integration expert. He has developed and provided solution to a lot of customers for over a decade. So hi, Debangan.
Hi Abhishek, hi everyone to this
Yeah,
wonderful
over to
session.
you. I am very excited to see how we can connect the private apps with the integration flows.
Yes, so am I excited as well? Let's discuss our agenda today, right? So based on our agenda, what we are using as a topic for today is how to use or what are private apps and how to connect them, to have a efficient business flow to manage the data, right? So in our today's agenda, we will discuss why connecting private apps, what are actually the private apps, okay, and how AppSeConnect can help you in connecting those private apps. Right? So after discussion, what we'll do, we will just show you a small demo how you can use AppSeConnect portal to connect private apps. Okay, and post that we will have a question answering session where we will address your questions. Okay. So as in private apps or as a business owner, you must you must be having some applications which do not provide by default some structures, some endpoints, or some data that you may require or is very much vital to you to maintain your business, right? So those kind of applications or those kind of data can be easily grouped in a collection and can be named as a private apps. Okay. So these private apps are generally homegrown apps which are developed by you or your developer vendor and is solely accessible to you only. So any third-party users will not have any access to these private apps, right? So this kind of apps, if you have such thing, okay, uh, that's what we generally term as a private app. Okay, but in AppSeConnect terms, let me just give you a brief introduction in our terms what we actually mean. So in AppSeConnect, you must be knowing that we offer a variety and a multiple number of applications, right? So we have a number of applications that can be integrated and that can be found in our marketplace as well. Okay, so something that is not listed in our marketplace, okay, so that is something we do not offer by default, okay, and needs to be configured from scratch. So those kind of applications, those kind of structures, we generally term as a private app, right? And these private apps are individually created. They are only available in the individual organizations. They cannot be accessed via any other organization. So that's the beauty of it. So why connecting private apps, right? So if you are a business user, business owner, okay, so you must be knowing that data is the key for any business. So if you have some data and you're not managing it, you do not know what to do about it, right? So that particular data is of no use. If you are running a business, you have to control whatever is going on inside it, right? So you have to know how much sales is occurring, how much transactions are being made, overall what we can say, the reimbursements if there are any, if you want to manage those kind of things. So you have to have a data that is structured, that can be found in a structured way, right? Every app generates n number of data within itself. Okay, so you have an app that supports integration or has an API, will definitely generate n number of data within itself. And integrating that with your master data or master ERP, okay, can give you a 360-degree view of the targeted customers. Let's say you have email registers or subscribers in your that's come to your portal or into your shop, but don't buy anything. Okay. So those kind of information you would also like to register within your ERP so that it gives you the target customers that, okay, so these customers are interested in my business. They have visited my website and they, I might reach to them for a better sales. So that gives you analysis of the market, and your scattered data, which are there here and there, placed in your applications, that can also be uniformly maintained in your business. Okay, and obviously that gives you a real-time data insights. Okay, so we are going to see how you can get the maximum output from your custom apps. Okay, so as mentioned by Daniel K. Moran, okay, I'll just quote him: you can have data without information, but you cannot have information without data, right? So let's say you have a name, okay, or you have a particular data, let's say 450. That does not make any sense. But when you say that the stock of my item is 450, then it gets a meaning to its sentence. Okay, so data without, like, you have some information like I have this item, I have stock. How much stock, I don't know. Or let's say I have 450 stock of which item, I don't know. So if you have information without any proper management of the data, let's say you have a stock of ABC item and the stock is 450, so then that data becomes meaningful. Okay, so that's the importance of data and information in any business, in any business entity. So in this particular management, what we have discussed just now, how AppSeConnect can help you, right? So AppSeConnect is an iPaaS platform. Any application that has an API, we can say. So any application that has an API that supports, for example, low data REST protocols, can be easily integrated using a custom app or a private app. Right. So this particular structure, we have a structure in the section in the AppSeConnect portal where you can configure this data, where you can manage the data, how you want to sync, how you want to create a flow. So you can define that. And another interesting fact is that you can also uh, do a particular error handling as well, which will be showing you just in some time. So your private app can easily contribute to your overall integration. So side by side, if you are already having any integration, side by side, your private app, your custom endpoints can also give you an additional step towards your sales and marketing, right? So that will give you a 360-degree overview of the data that you have. And in AppSeConnect, if you're already a user, if you're already a subscriber, right? So you do not have to pay anything additional to get to use this particular custom app. If you have an endpoint, you are a subscriber of AppSeConnect portal, you can use it for free, right? And AppSeConnect, as you know, it supports n number of processes, or we can say n number of process nodes or the applications to integrate. So this is just a small steps that is written how you can connect the private apps. We will like to show you side by side a short demonstration how you can configure this. But first of all, what you have to know, or what you have to understand is the importance of the data flow. So let's say you have an endpoint which is giving you 1,000 data, but integrating 1,000 data might not be required in your business, right? So out of those, let's say you only require 5 to 10 fields of data that you may need to register in your other applications, or let's say ERP or e-commerce, right? So you need to have an idea what will be your data flow, what data needs to sync. Okay, so without that, we recommend first to have a clear idea about how you can manage the data flow, create a word chart or flow chart. Okay, so just to understand, this will be my data coming from a source application, this is something I need in my destination application. So this you have to identify first, and then in the AppSeConnect portal, as we mentioned, we have a section where you can implement this. Okay, you have a section to put your credentials. So you must be having a type of authentication where you have to bypass that particular authentication with a valid credential. You have to put that as well. And if there are any minor changes or monitor changes, you can monitor that from the AppSeConnect portal. Snapshot we have where you can manage the data, or you can see what the logs are. Right. So let's quickly move on to my screen where I'll be showing you a particular demonstration how you can connect two custom apps Okay. So let's say this is my APPSeCONNECT portal. Okay. And I'll go to private apps and I'll just create an app. Okay. So I'll just give images. Okay. So let's give. Okay. I'll enter the name as custom if I have. So we are taking reference from Shopify, but we are not actually using the Shopify REST APIs directly. So this is custom. You can give a proper description over here. This is a custom Shopify app, let's say. Okay, save and proceed. Okay, so here is the section where you can put the authentication, right? So you can use either of these authentication, for example, the basic auth, BRR token, API key, OAuth. Okay, so for example, I have to use the basic auth, right? So I'll just give a path, XPath over here. Okay, I'll just put it. And I'll give a proper API key and a password. Okay, so I'll give also a so I'll just save this. So you can give help text. So this is the base API path. Okay, so this is your API key. So you can write this thing over here. This is your API secret. Okay? And you can save and proceed. So now you'll be taken to this particular page where you can see some actions are written. So these actions are nothing but the operations that you want to do from your endpoint. Let's say you want to get data from this source. So if you click on new, you can like we also have an option to import the data. If you have a Swagger URL, okay, so you can also import the data directly into this portal, which I'll show you. So just give a name. Let's say I want to get customers from Shopify. Okay, I give this name. The endpoint would be customers.json. Okay, so this is my endpoint. I do not have to put any header. If there is any header, you can put it over here. Okay, and I can provide a response code. This is what we call is as a error handling. We can just put a code. For example, if data comes, give me 200 success. Okay, and I can also paste a particular response body over here. Okay, so I'll just take one response, customer response, and I'll just provide it over here. So you may or may not put this thing over here. That is not mandatory. Okay. So we can just put a reference example over here and that's it. So if you have any key identification factor, like let's say I want to identify the ID when it comes into the input. So you can provide it over here as well. And I'll save it. So that's it. We are done for this one endpoint. So you have if you have any Swagger URL, you can provide the Swagger URL over here and everything will be imported directly. Right? So now this we have created. Let's create another private app for the source. In this case, let's take. So this is one we created. You can see the versioning 1.0.0.1. We will create another application. Okay. So let's take. Okay. So custom. A 1.0.0.1. So this is custom and I'll proceed. Now over here, let's use again basic auth. For example, I'll provide the credentials. Okay, provide the username. Okay, and I'll also provide the password. So I'll save and proceed. So again, over here, we want to create an action, do a post operation. So I'll just select post. I'll give the endpoint as customer because we have taken the same endpoint from Shopify as well. So we'll give create new customers and I'll post in this endpoint. So let's say I want to import this schema as well. For example, I have a particular schema. What is a schema is nothing but a structure of the mapping that you want to integrate. So that's what we call a schema. So let's say we have a default schema of send email. Okay. And I'll just provide the structure like this. Okay. And I'll provide a value. So I can provide it this way, or if you have any additional schema, let's say you want to also have the name. So you can just provide this like this. Yeah, and give a name. And you can just make this as your default schema. So you can either provide this or you can whatever, let's say you have a customized schema. For example, let's say you want to map everything like this one. Okay? So you want to map all these fields over here. So you can just add this particular, just provide it over here. It does not have to be mandatory whether you have values or not. So you can just put it over here, right? So that's how you can give a schema and you can directly import that, right? So for now, I'll just go with email. That's it. Or if you do not have any schema, how you can create that, we can also show you that, right? So just leave it for now. Okay, I'll give a response code at 201 created, and the response body will be mine. So I'll just give a unique identifier, which will be my number. I'll save this. Okay. So I'll just save this action. All right. So now let's see how we can use this particular section. We'll just go to design. Okay. We'll create a process flow. Okay, let's say get customers. Okay. Proceed. I'll take the customer that we built, which is Shopify. And you'll just select your action that you created. Everything will be auto-populated. So you can just give your required parameters. For example, created at name. Okay. And you can give a particular date. So this one from this date, or whatever, you can put anything from there, right? You can just save this and proceed. Save node. And then use your business custom business central app that we created. Select your action over here and save it. Now, in between, what we need is a mapper node. So that is why you are going to map the things, right? So you just put a mapper node, okay? And you just connect this business central after this mapper. So what it will do, it will just create a flow. If you see the structure, it just created a flow from your Shopify customer to your business central customer, right? So this is our whole structure, right? So now let's see how you can map this thing. You just map it very simple. I'll just use, for example, data is coming from customers. So I'll just give the relevant customers expert. Let's say let's use one for now. Okay. So under this, we'll just like to map the email. So we'll just give the data type will be string and save it. So that's all about our mapping. So I'll just map whatever is coming from the input. For example, I am email. You can directly use this, or if you have any default schema that you have provided in while creating the action, you can also select it from there. So I'll just use email. So that is done. Let's just see what the structure generated. This is the structure that got generated, and it's done. So we'll close, save, and deploy. We have to put a particular credential over here. So we have already put it over here. We just have to select. Okay? Just create a credential name. Okay, and let's say BC Scrum 2.0. We will save this. So this one. Here. So, done. Now for this one, we'll do the same thing. Add credential. Okay, and we will save it. So that's all we have put in over here. Next, and it's done. Right. So this whatever we did now is just we took some application. Let's say this is a custom application, and this is also a custom application in a business scenario, and we want to just see how the email thing gets mapped, right? And how it flows from one particular endpoint to the other. So this is now deployed. We will just execute it. Okay. So in order to see, okay, how it worked, you can go to here in this view snapshot. Snapshot is nothing but a place where you can see all the data logs for any process. So this was the customer that came from Shopify, okay, and it has been posted successfully. So now let me quickly take over the ERP environment and show you that how this data looks on the other end. So if you see here, you can also see the transaction file, okay, where you can see that this customer number was created, and you see this is the email that we mapped that is coming from the source that has been mapped, right? So just within a second, okay, I'm just going to show you how you can see this data. So if you see here on my screen, okay, so the customer number was 20C00022. This was our customer number. So if you see the ERP, you can see, so this is our customer, that has been created, and that will be having that particular email that we have shown, right? So this is how very simply done, okay, and very easy to configure. So this, like this, we have just configured how a particular custom app can be integrated using the AppSeCONNECT portal. Okay. So, okay, so over there, let's say if you have to, modify something, you can just go into the portal, okay, and you can modify it over here. So you can also use this is a special feature, very beautiful feature. You can see over here, which is executing via the runtime. So what it gives you the flexibility. Let's say if you have an endpoint which can be used to call a particular data only. So you can use that particular data format. You can provide the IDs over here, whatever IDs you have, and you can just save and execute. So in that way, it will also execute, right? And this will be executed for only one single data. So this is how you can connect the AppSeCONNECT, private apps using AppSeCONNECT portal. And Abhishek, I think this is something very useful and can be user friendly, we can say, right? And like you have seen, so what do you suggest?
Yeah.
How this can be very much useful for the
Yeah, I mean, Devangan, you have shown a very extensive demo. It's a very nicely shown demo. So you have connected two application, even though both of them are actually public application, but you haven't used the public solution that we have provided in our marketplace, but rather you
yes,
have chosen the path of creating the entire thing from scratch, and it is very easy. I mean, I can see that it is just some clicks ahead where you can configure
absolutely,
an entire
absolutely.
integration on the fly. So that's very good, and I think people who are attending here have understood a lot of things, how the API's integration works actually. So let me move to the question answers now, because we already have few questions I can see. So let me ask you a few questions, which
Sure.
the attendees has already asked in the question answer panel. Yeah, I'll also encourage others to keep on adding the questions here. So the first question that comes in is, can we configure multiple endpoints for the same application, or for every API we have to configure or create a separate private app in AppSeConnect?
No, 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 nothing like that. So if you have already, built a particular application, okay, and you want to, like that particular application has multiple endpoints. So it's kind of a, umbrella-like structure. You define the parent node, and under that you can create the subcategories. So a particular application can have multiple or in number of, endpoints or methods, we can say. So it can have, 10 post methods, 20 get methods, 10 delete, 20, 30 patch. So it can have a number of endpoints that can be added under the same structure. So you do not have to create.
Great. That means
Yeah.
whenever we create an app, you can create all the endpoints within that app,
Or
and you can
yes,
use it
correct.
whenever you feel like in the process flow.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what you're saying. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So thanks. Let me go to the next question. The next question is, what if
Yes.
there is a new field added on a API after configuring an integration? Can I add or modify fields in an existing integration?
Yes, 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 surely you do. So let's say this particular structure which I showed you. So if you're importing a schema and you want to change something, right? So you can easily do that in the mapping part, in the mapper section. So if you need any modification, let's say it's a minimal one, you need to just modify a particular name. It was wrongly populated, so you can edit that. Or if you have to, add one particular one or two, small additional fields, so you can add that as well. Okay, it will be included directly into the integration. So no need to additionally put any efforts.
Great, great. So basically, we can do whatever changes we need after it is
Absolutely.
migrated to production.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So the third question is, I saw SAP is also supported in AppSeConnect. Can you confirm whether SAP can also connect to my private apps?
Okay, so yeah, definitely it does. So if you have any, SAP B1 or SAP ECC, and you want to connect it to your public application or private application, okay. So definitely we can do that. We, as a APPSeCONNECT iPaaS provider, we do support as a native integration, ACP connections, be it ACP ECC, be it ACP SLB1 or ECC as well. So we do support that. And if you have any private application which supports API, protocols, so definitely that can be integrated.
So basically, you have shown two private apps connecting together, but it can be any marketplace app
It
in
can be
one
any
side also.
marketplace apps. Yes, absolutely.
So in the SAP is natively supported in APPSeCONNECT, and it can connect through the flows also. Okay. So the next question is, do I need to pay for adding new private apps? What would be
Uh,
the pricing of adding new apps?
okay. So this is something that is going to be very interesting. That if you are already an APPSeCONNECT portal user, or you have an existing subscription for APPSeCONNECT portal, so you do not have to pay any additional cost to incur this particular private app. You can use it for free at no cost, and you can also use multiple number of custom apps within the portal. Okay, so you just have to have an existing subscription. That's it. No additional cost is.
So that means anything that we add, any application that we add, it comes absolutely free for us, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think we are out of time right now, so maybe we can take the other questions later on. So I would ask everyone to post your questions on the panel, the question answer panel, and I would definitely answer them through an email to all of you. Okay, thank you for this lovely session, Debangan, and I'm hopeful to come back again for another webinar very soon.
Sure.
Thank you all for joining.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining.